So if you've ever been in that situation where you really want to start reading ebooks, or you have maybe started dabbling in reading ebooks instead of actual physical books, but there's so many platforms that you don't actually know which one is best, which one is going to offer you the best value for money, and which one is just going to make it easy for you to actually read your books on your laptop, your iPad, your phone, whatever you're reading your books on. Well, today in this video, I'm going to be breaking down for you two of the most popular ebook services, which are Apple Books and Kindle, so you can decide which one is best for you. And make sure you stick around in this video because I will also be talking about audiobooks and how they are linked to Apple Books and Kindle and all that good stuff. So firstly, let's talk functionality. So with Apple Books, you of course, it's in the name, need an Apple device to be able to use Apple Books. Now Apple Books comes pre-installed on new Apple devices, so if you buy a new iPhone, a new iPad, Apple Books is automatically going to be on there, so it's super simple and quick to get started, but you do need an Apple account. Whereas with Kindle, it can be downloaded from your app store, whatever it is, whether it's the Apple App Store, whether it's Google Play, you can download it straight onto the device you want to use, so an iPad, a tablet, or a phone. Now in terms of the user interface of both of these apps, they are both very good and they have a lot of similarities in how you use them and how you navigate through them, but there are some key differences to be aware of. So both Apple Books and Kindle have a very intuitive homepage. Your homepage basically gives you an overview of your library, what you're currently reading, so that you can very quickly just pick it up and start reading again. Both will also show you some titles related to what you've been reading that you may also want to read, so things from their shop that they think you would want to purchase and read based on what you've previously read. With Kindle, if you want to pick up the book that you've currently been reading and keep going, there is just a little book icon of the front cover of the book you've been reading at the very bottom in the middle. You just click that and you will start reading. And with Apple Books, you literally just click on the book in your continue reading section. One thing that Apple Books has that Kindle does not have is a reading challenge, so you can set yourself a reading goal for the day, say 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however long you want to read for, and then once you read on Apple Books, it will automatically record that for you and count that towards the reading challenge that you are working towards. So if you're someone who wants to read more, that's a really nice feature. Both apps have a tab called Library, and this basically allows you to flick through your library and see all of the books that you have purchased or samples that you have of books you may want to read. Now on this tab, I do prefer the layout of Apple Books. I think it has a really nice feature, which is the 3 mini dots down below the book cover, and this gives you a load of other options that are a lot harder to find on Kindle or that Kindle doesn't have. So you can do things like, of course, read a free sample. You can easily remove it from your library. And what I think is really cool is that you can actually click suggest more like this or suggest less like this. And that basically means that if you've read the book and you loved it, you want more titles like that, you can click suggest more like this and you will get to see more titles like that. Or you can click suggest less like this if you didn't like that book. Both apps have a store which allows you to flick through and choose new books that you want to read. When you buy them, they will then automatically be added into your library. There's one very key difference here that is really important for me to point out that you need to know about, and it's basically that within the Kindle app you can actually purchase a book, which baffles me. I don't know why you can't do that yet. That seems like such a simple thing that you should be able to do, but within the Kindle app you cannot buy books directly. Within Apple Books you can. Now with Kindle, if you want to buy a book, so let's say you're browsing through the library and you want to buy a book, you basically will need to go onto the Amazon website to do that. I think it's honestly crazy that you have to do that. I even looked up on the app, you can't even buy them through the Amazon app at the time that I'm filming this, which is just like insane to me. Why can't you do that? But yeah, I don't know, Jeff Bezos, you need to like sort this out. The other thing that you will see when you go onto the Kindle app is you will see Kindle Unlimited, and this is basically plastered over the whole of the app. Everywhere you look, basically there is Kindle Unlimited beside a book, Kindle Unlimited here, there, and everywhere. And Kindle Unlimited is basically Amazon's answer to getting unlimited books for one monthly price. However, you don't get any book you want, you get a selection of books that have been picked out by Amazon to be put into the Kindle Unlimited library. So basically it is like Netflix in a way. If there's books on there that you're like, I would read all of these are definitely on my alley, Kindle Unlimited could be worth it for you. Now I have a whole video on Kindle Unlimited, so we highly recommend, if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, go and check out that video. I will leave it linked. With Apple Books, it's a lot simpler. You literally just go on the app, you click purchase of a book that you actually want, it goes into your library, and the money comes out of the bank account that's linked to your Apple account. Now in terms of the UI of both Apple Books and also Kindle, it's pretty similar whenever it comes to actually reading a book. So you flick through the pages in the exact same way. The main difference I would say is that Kindle does have more options of how you can make it look for you when you're reading a book. So your actual appearance when you're reading a book can be changed a lot more on Kindle Unlimited. They have a lot more settings in terms of what font you want to use, line spacing, page color. There's a lot more options there. Apple Books still has a few options, but definitely not as many as Kindle. Okay, now we need to talk about audiobooks, because there is a huge difference between Apple Books and Kindle when it comes to audiobooks. Kindle does not have audiobooks. Kindle is obviously a subset of Amazon, and Amazon own Audible, which is their audiobook service. So within the Kindle app, you will not find audiobooks, it is only ebooks. If you want to listen to audiobooks, you need the separate app, which is Audible. Now I have a whole bunch of videos on Audible. It's a confusing thing all on its own. So make sure you check those out if you want a bit more of a deep dive on that. But basically all you need to know is that Kindle does not have audiobooks in it. You would need the Audible app. Whereas with Apple Books, they actually have audiobooks and ebooks together in one app, which is probably my favorite feature about Apple Books. I love that it's an all-in-one platform. It just makes life so much easier. I can buy audiobooks through there, I can buy ebooks through there. It's one platform, it's easy, quick, and simple. So when it comes to audiobooks on Apple Books, they have a tab at the bottom called Audiobooks. You can very quickly and easily browse through the audiobooks that they have. They typically have like trending audiobooks, they have sales on audiobooks every so often. Now we have to talk about price. We couldn't do this without talking about price, because it's very important and it's a huge factor for people when it comes to deciding which platform you might want to use. So firstly, what I want to say overall is that you pay individually for each book that you buy and each audiobook that you buy. Kindle is a little bit more confusing. You do pay for individual ebooks, but you can also pay for Kindle Unlimited, which is the monthly subscription, and you can also pay for Audible, which is the audiobook subscription. So you can pay for things individually, but you can also get monthly subscriptions. Whereas with Apple Books, it is literally just pay for what you use. And on Apple Books, there is a huge variation in terms of the price of the ebooks. It totally depends on the book, depends on the length, the author, how long the book has been out for, and all of that stuff. So they do vary massively, but they start at about 99p, and they frequently have 99p sales going on where you can purchase books for a lot cheaper than they usually would be. And their audiobooks are typically all around the $7.99 range. So they vary again depending on the book, but I would say with most of them they're about $7.99. Now in terms of Kindle, their ebooks are roughly the same in terms of price, start very low about 99p and can go up to sort of $9.99 or even more depending on the book. And with their audiobooks, when you purchase them individually, they are typically around the same, around $7.99. An Audible subscription is $7.99 a month as well, which gets you one book. So the prices are pretty similar. It just depends on whether you decide to go for like the pay per use platform, which is more Apple Books, or if you want more of a subscription service if you read a lot of ebooks or a lot of audiobooks. That might be more up your alley, and if you don't mind the choice aspect. So it really does depend on what you're gonna be using it for, but the prices really are quite similar. There's not a huge variation in the prices. I do highly recommend that you go and check out other videos on my channel related to this topic. There's a lot to it, it's a bit confusing, but I recommend you head over and check out some of these videos if you want a bit more information on specific subscription services. Make sure you hit that red subscribe button down below for more content like this in the future, and hit that like button if you enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next one.